Come on.
Will!
Now! Jesus!
Wow! What else can you do?
I didn't know I could do that!
Weather and politics. We're joined now from Washington, a balmy 50 degrees there right now. Jason Johnson, host of A Word on Slate. And out to Des Moines, it is 20 degrees right now. David Cashel, who ran Iowa campaigns for Romney and Jeb Bush. And as you know, sir, on Monday, the high in Des Moines is -3 and the low, -20. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Here we are. Jason, I just walked through most of a breakdown of facts and history and what we're headed towards, not really a deep analysis of who this helps or hurts. But what do you see in the coming Monday Iowa caucus and the weather component?
This is really important, Ari. It is cold in the D, and we're talking about Des Moines. And I can tell you as someone, I grew up outside of Council Bluffs, Iowa. I know what cold weather is. I spent a lot of time in the Midwest. Midwesterners are very proud of the fact that they can brave any kind of weather. But what you're looking at on Monday is a situation where if I am a caucus goer and the high school or the elementary school where I caucus was closed for my kids that day, it's unlikely that I'm going to pack everybody into the car and go there at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening to caucus if the building hasn't even been open. So this could have a massive, massive impact, especially as you're talking about urban areas where you've got to traverse more streets to get there. I think that Donald Trump is correct. He has a base. He is, in the minds of many Republicans, the incumbent president anyway, so he's going to have people on the ground. But I also think there could be surprises. We don't know how strong Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, or Nikki Haley's organizations on the ground are. If they have a strong organization, you could see a surprise second place in this race, but I don't think Trump is going to get knocked off his perch.
David, same question to you when we look at Monday ranging from -3 to -20.
Yeah, look, Iowa, all Iowans like to believe that they're hale and hearty and can handle any kind of weather. 20 below zero, you're talking about danger zone there. There is a risk to people, frostbite. It hurts to go outside when it's that cold. That said, I've been through some pretty cold caucuses. We've had a lot of January caucuses in this state. And it does dampen turnout. I'm not sure. This is a pretty self-selected audience already. I'm not sure it's going to hurt turnout by 20, 30, 40%. It might be 10% or 15%. I did talk to some people today who said, no matter what, I'm going to go to the caucuses, but my parents who are in their 70s or 80s normally would go and they won't. So we might see a little bit of a drop off. And honestly, I'm not sure who over-indexes with older voters in their 70s and 80s. It might be Trump. I think if I'm the candidate, we'll look for whatever polling comes over the weekend here and maybe see if we can find some age breakdown and crosstabs to give us some guidance on that.
Oh, you love your crosstabs,
my guess is this is going to affect everybody. I love my crosstabs. I think this will affect the campaigns probably pretty equally because, look, Donald Trump is a turnout machine. There's no question. But he's not just a turnout machine for Donald Trump. He's also a turnout machine for the Democrat he's running against, or in this case, the Republicans he's running against. There are still plenty of Republicans out here who want somebody else. So I think you'll see a lot of motivation on either side, and it might just come out in the wash if we have a lower turnout.
Well, as I mentioned, David, when you look at the 16, where Trump lost by about 6,000 votes, I mean, if the turnout gets lower and lower, one thing it does is create a little more uncertainty because instead of talking about broader trends, you're now broken down to these little groups. And so you mentioned crosstabs, which means either you're a seasoned Iowa operative or a huge nerd. I don't know you well enough to choose. Jason and I are nerds. I just don't know you that well. But whatever you are, you're talking crosstabs to look at people's preferences. You're talking about in the Iowa caucus, they often use 1 through 5 to rank and figure out whether you're a hard or soft supporter and then turn out your most ardent supporters. Can you walk us through what that turnout modeling might be like? Because obviously you're going to adjust. If someone's soft and they said on the phone, I'm not sure if I'm going to go, and if I come, I'm not sure I'm between two candidates, at a practical level, you probably are less likely to even bother calling them. You're going to try to turn out only your ones, as they call it in the biz.
Yeah. Right. So, look, the difference between the Trump campaign in 16 and this year is they're very organized. They run a very professional campaign, as has DeSantis with the Never Back Down super PAC. A lot of money invested in their organization. And Nikki Haley now, with the support of AFP, has a kind of a pre-built organization. So they're all kind of coming in with a pretty good organization. You're going to have in the big counties for the big precincts, you're going to have drivers. The people who come in from out of state can't do anything else in the caucuses. They might be taking people to caucuses.
Will they have hand warmers?
Well, I hope they do. Walmart probably be running out of them by the time we get to Monday afternoon. But look, again, I think this kind of hit everybody the same way. Everyone has their own version of a strong organization. Nikki Haley really only has to perform really well in about 8 or 10 counties, because that's where she's focused her attention. That's where Rubio did the best, kind of the same coalition in 2016. Trump has to compete in all 99 counties. He's got a lot of support out in exurban Iowa. And I disagree with Jason. It might be easier to do something in town because those roads are cleared a little better. We get snow on Sunday, and you got to drive 20 miles in Taylor County to get to your one precinct location. You might look outside and say, you know what, I'll skip it this year. And those are good Trump counties. They're probably a little better DeSantis counties as well.
Well, and
so
you're talking,
we'll
David,
see how this impacts things.
You said those 99 counties. I'm sure you know the old saying in Republican Iowa caucus politics, I got 99 counties and ain't one of them warm. You know that one, right, David?
I sing that every day. Yes, especially now.
I know Jason wants in. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to add to this. The important thing also to remember is that a caucus is an endurance test, right? So once people get there, so you get there, I've been to the Iowa caucuses a couple of times. You have your snacks, you have your little food or whatever, and then people start going round after round after round. If somebody's looking outside and the snow is continuing, you may have people who are ardent Ramaswamy supporters, ardent Haley supporters who are saying, look, I'm not leaving. I'm going to keep going. And you might have sort of attrition battles in some areas if there's real competition. Like, this is an endurance race. It is a passion race. It is an enthusiasm race. And I really do think there is a possibility that you could have a surprise in some counties if it's a matter of, I got to get out of here by 8:30, and somebody else is like, I'm going to stay here until we're done caucusing. Yeah, and the Democrats use that longer system. The ours, it's faster, but as you say, you still have to show up and be there, which is why it's different than primary voting. Jason, against this backdrop is a big night tonight. People who turn on the news are going to see something, whatever news channel you turn on. We hope you tune in at 10 p.m. where Rachel leads coverage, and we got you all night. But let's be real, because I want to be objective, Jason. There are channels that are competitive to us that have a lot going on. And the headline here is from Deadline. Fox has the Trump town hall, which is deliberately obviously scheduled against CNN, which has a GOP debate where Haley and DeSantis make their closing arguments. So, Jason, you look at the politics of that. Normally, a Fox News debate is going to be a closing argument that a lot of Iowa Republicans are going to hear about, any Fox News program. Add to that the snow, and they are in a very real way freezing out the kind of events and final interactions that you'd have. David says maybe people will hunker down and still show up Monday. But I don't think they're going out to random diners and dinners in this weather. In other words, it shrinks down to your must-dos. And so I wonder, Jason, what you think that does to what is here tonight, one of the last big blowouts of programming as Christie drops out. That Haley and DeSantis use their night to try to say, hey, we're the alternative. And then Trump's here coming fresh off, Navy SEAL gate, talking to Fox about how he can do whatever he wants. This is the winter is coming moment, and this happens after every Iowa caucus, right? You see a lot of people drop out. The weird thing this year is that you've seen a number of people, whether it's Christie, whether it's Pence, whether it's Tim Scott, have dropped out beforehand. I think strategically, honestly, Ari, tonight is a night for Nikki Haley. If I'm Nikki Haley, when I'm in that debate, I'm saying, look, forget about Ron DeSantis. You know he's already faded. I'm already within striking distance of Donald Trump in New Hampshire. Give me the momentum that I need in Iowa, and I can be the candidate that you can coalesce around if you're a never Trump Republican. That is her best chance tonight because there's not many people who are going to survive past Iowa. Donald Trump already has his audience. Fox has decided they want to throw one with him, but he is vulnerable, especially if there could be a surprise on Monday. Yeah. Vulnerable to lose a nomination? No, but vulnerable to get embarrassed in Iowa? Anything is possible. Yeah, all fair points. David, we'll give you the final word here, about 30 seconds, as we wish you warmth in Iowa. And David, as you know, you go around Brooklyn or Atlanta, when people say icy,
part of the time they mean dripping in diamonds, jewelry. What you guys are up against, when you guys say icy, means actual literal ice, frozen water. Final thoughts, David.
Yeah, no, it's going to be quite a night in Iowa. It still matters. There's no reason to postpone it. There's so many calendar reasons why we got to do it when we got to do it. And everybody's just going to have to put their heads down and persevere. If you're in Iowa, dress warm, bundle up, layer, and get those hand warmers at Walmart, because we got work to do on Monday night, and I think we're all going to go do our jobs.
Fascinating. This is really becoming, of course, the big part of the coverage for Monday. And I also want to say a shout out to both of you. Here we have David and Jason, somewhat different points of view associated with somewhat different wings on the spectrum. And we just had a nice conversation about politics. And let's do more of that, gentlemen.
And the weather.
Definitely.
And the weather. Well, the ultimate small talk is the weather. David and Jason kicking us off tonight. Thanks to both of you.